Hey folks, this is David Opposing the Matrix coming on doing a special Saturday show, and there's a reason for doing this, okay? I normally don't get on during Sabbath or Shabbat, but there's just some stuff going on that I need to let you know about if you don't know about it already. We'll get into that in a minute. Like I said, today's Shabbat. It's Saturday, the 11th of October, and it's approximately 2:07 p.m. Everything's in the way of everything else. I was watching some videos yesterday. When do I don't? And what happened was of all things, I was looking at the Facebook Shorts, and this video came on that it was a guy talking about a special report, basically that there was things that we needed to know. And I come to find out later it's kind of a QAnon thing, and so I listened to it, and I listened to the following one too. And, with this whole QAnon thing, it's, how do I put this? Let me just get into, all right, let's see here. I got to do this in order. I just can't do it. Okay. So what I'm going to talk about today is the plan, really the plan, or has it been hijacked? Okay. So what do I mean about plan? All right. There are those who are highly invested in the plan, who are QAnon adherents, and who have been quite active in it since just before the first presidency of Donald Trump. The plan is basically a plan to take back the world for not for democracy, but for sovereignty. And which you've been witnessing some of the stuff Donald Trump doing is that, okay? You can't tell the world to clean its own house if yours isn't clean. So he's effectively cleaning our house. And there's a lot more to it, okay? But now I got to explain to you, I think that a lot of the things that QAnon says are okay and they're real, okay? But like any other thing, if it's not fully cemented, and it's kind of loose and everything, it leaves room for other things to get in, or to add their stuff, or to take some of the QAnon stuff and add it to that other person's or that other plan stuff, whatever. I think you know what I'm talking about. I hope you do anyway. And so this is what happened, okay? So the plan has evolved away from what it once was. In the beginning, the plan was a military-led effort to rid the world of this deep state. Looking at both presidencies of Donald Trump and what he has done and is doing, one can see parts of that plan, like I said. I have no doubt that the plan is a real thing. And if you listen to the things said online anymore, you would think that the plan is a religious element to it over rights and a secular plan. While the plan still exists, however, it appears that the New Age is taking it over, at least in part. And I'm going to explain that to you and prove it today. So let's look at this whole mess and see what we can put together. Now, I put this together just this morning, okay? So it's a little loose and it's not refined. I'm going to let you know that right ahead of time. And that having been said, let's take off and do this thing. But the first time I don't do this a lot before at the beginning of a show. But Father, I pray in Yeshua's name that you would just let me show what this whole thing is, and that I'd be able to explain it effectively and have people understand and share so that they know what's going on behind the scenes, what's going on behind the things that are behind the scenes. Let's put it that way. And Father, just bless this time in Yeshua's name. Amen. Okay. So, where do we start, folks? So anyway, I was watching this video, and this guy goes into this thing about the military's doing this, and he has another speaker on there, or he's not a speaker, but he has a video on there of a recording of what a man said during a meeting. And the first thing we're going to do before we really get started is we're going to play those two videos, and I'm going to ask you to watch along and to listen with a very keen ear, okay? And I want you to see, if you know anything about the New Age, I want you to try to pick those things out, okay? I've made a little list here, but I want you to listen too, because we have to learn to be active listeners. And if we're active listeners, we can take action. Okay, if not, we just kind of like sit there like, oh well, what's the big deal, you know? Someone once said that the problem with the United States, if he asked if it was ignorance or arrogance, he said yes. It was both, and that's the truth. It really is. So, and those things aren't going to be an excuse come Judgment Day. Okay, we're not going to be able to stand there in front of Yahweh and say, "Oh well, you know, I didn't really know what was going on," and He would say, "You know what? Why didn't you look into it? Why didn't you know?" And if you're a believer, you know, you're not going to get thrown in hell for that, but it's going to be questioned, and you might not get some of the rewards that others would be getting, the ones that listened and were ready. We're constantly told by Yeshua to be ready, always be ready. So, anyway, you got to pardon me, folks. I've got a headache coming on, and it's not a good one. And so I'm going to try to be jovial like I usually am and get through this, because I think this is very important, and it's something you all need to hear as well as I heard it already. So anyway, let me go play these two videos. Each one of them is about 15 minutes long. Okay, I'll warn you ahead of time. Maybe we'll take a break between the two and just talk for a few minutes. But again, bear in mind that a lot of the things that this guy said are true. Okay? Remember, when the enemy comes at you with something, a lot of times it's 99% truth and 1% error. But that 1% error is a big 1%. Okay? And you'll find a few 1% in what you're going to hear today if you have an ear to hear or an eye to see. And so, and then we'll talk about it. Okay? Anyway, so let me go ahead and... yeah, I'll see that for later. Okay, so the first one he's going to talk about, and it starts out about all the generals being summoned to come back to the States back around, I think it was September 30th, right around there. And it really happened. There was a call, the Department of War, they're calling it now, which is okay, told everybody, all admirals and generals, that they needed to report to Washington right away. And when I hear stuff like that, man, that just sends... that sends shivers down your spine, you know, because you start wondering, you know, what in the heck were they talking about and everything. But when you hear this, you're going to understand why they were summoned there. The defecation is getting ready to hit the rotary oscillator, so to speak, and saying that in a nice way. And this is proof that things are starting to happen, okay? When the President of the United States has the Secretary of War get all the generals and admirals together to talk to them, there's something going on. So, and that doesn't have to be war, okay? But and you'll see what it is in a few minutes. Anyway, let's go with this thing, and remember, just listen. Don't take everything at face value, but listen and then pick it apart. We'll pick it apart later. Okay, here we go.
Greetings, patriots, Star Seas lightworkers, and of course our very brave military. Welcome to 1776 United, and we're in a worldwide and galactic revolution. I'm Alex West. Today is October the 9th. And I tried to play this a couple of times, but it's a Wi-Fi problem that's coming in and out. But I'm going to have you listen to something here that solidifies what we all been debating or assuming. All right? Have a listen.
The declaration of authority and summons that was put forward by President Trump, especially for all of us in the Crown Corporation of Canada, right? For all of you in the chat, we just saw Northern Alberta, Quebec, all across the board, you name it, Ontario, Okanagan, BC, fantastic. Hope you get to the ostrich farms. Katie Pacific will be back on here live tomorrow. We're going to have an update from the farm because it's still going on. Okay, so Okanagan, you know where you are. You're very close for the international audience. It's like a stone's throw based on a map, the Okanagan of BC, Kelowna area, and getting right back up to Edgewood, BC. But let me read this out to you because this is very powerful, very informative, and it is in front of everybody's face. So the Declaration of Authority and Summons by Commander-in-Chief Trump of the authority vested in the President of the United States for America as Commander-in-Chief under Article 2 of the Constitution and by the immutable laws of common law sovereignty. Notice common law sovereignty. It is hereby declared, number 1, lawful command under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Every flag officer of the United States Armed Forces, by oath, by law, is bound to obey the lawful orders of the Commander-in-Chief. The UCMJ affirms that all generals and admirals remain subject to such orders, including the command to assemble. So he's saying, you took the oath, we are operating on the UCMJ, I am your Commander-in-Chief, I call you to come, you better come running, right? Just like the old school, I ask you to jump and I'm waiting for saying how high. Number 2, so important, sovereign right under common law. It says, from ancient precedent to modern practice, the head of a sovereign republic or kingdom holds the prerogative to summon his military leaders for counsel, recognition of authority, and the reordering of the nation's defense. This right is both inherent and incontestable. Let that one sink in. Number 3, and you all take a picture of it as it's up on the screen. Summons to assembly. Therefore, by order of, pay attention to these words, His Excellency the Western Kingdom. So here we are, Canada, the 51st state, Trump crowned King of the British Commonwealth on September 18th, is the head of the world. Did the sword dance that we saw in 2017 capitulation tour in Saudi Arabia. He is the head of the world. Went in the royal carriage, U.S. flag flown over Windsor Castle, and then they played YMCA right there, which is the Gitmo song. It says, therefore, by order of His Excellency the Western Kingdom and President of the United States for America, all flag officers are hereby summoned to Virginia on September 30, 2025 today. This assembly shall formally recognize and reaffirm allegiance to the constitutional republic of the United States of America. So notice, President of the United States for America, His Excellency of the Western Kingdom, and Constitutional Republic of the United States of America. And Secretary of War Hijacked said today, the Republic. He emphasized the Republic, not the corporation. Number 4, restoration of sovereignty. Upon this recognition, all military outposts and operations abroad that were established under the British Commonwealth, so here we have Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, Ireland, Scotland, parts of South Africa, Canada, or foreign dominion, shall be lawfully closed or transferred, securing America's independence in full. One continental army, the continental army of all of North America here. Number 5, we're going to be talking about that today. Binding duty. This order is issued in fulfillment of the President's sacred duty to uphold the Constitution, protect the people, and preserve the sovereignty of the Republic. All officers are bound by oath, honor, and law to obey. So for all of you, my goodness, this is epic, what you are just...
So there it is, executive order. It's been all written out and signed by,
Whether you're in Oklahoma,
by President Trump, Commander-in-Chief of the Western Alliance is Greenland, Canada, United States Republic, Scotland, Ireland, South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand, from what I understand. So, we will all be holding the U.S. New currency. As we all know, a fiat currency has no backing by gold. It has actually now been formally announced that it is only worth 3 cents on the world stage. The American dollar, fiat dollar, is only worth 3 cents on the American or on the world stage. Excuse me. So we are going to have that replaced by the new gold-backed Treasury note, and of course they're There will be some kind of coin that will also be a token, and that will be now that's metals that will probably represent our Western kingdom as we know it. So everything I've been talking about for the last couple 3 years since I first got into all this, and since actually when Trump come on to the scene in 2016, he has been mentioning all this. And when he mentions something, it means it's already been done. It's already been solidified. Now, there's many things. So, welcome to the kingdom of Western countries. Excuse me for my voice. Okay, so now we have something else that I want to throw out there. Let's just have a look here. Okay, that's not that there. And what I'm going to do is get into some things here. Now, the reason why these scammers are being able to do whatever they're doing, I got figured out now, and they're being monitored or surveilled by the Global Alliance, is because this is all about the exposure. The collateral damage I expect anybody that has been scammed by them and their money taken, they will be caught. The scammers will be caught, and the repatriate of your monies will be returned to you. This is what I'm assuming now. Now, this is just my opinion, but I believe that they're letting this go because of they need to have these, scammers and other degenerates, expose themselves using us as bait, and then, of course, that incriminates them. They're all going to be rounded up eventually. Now, remember, mandatory is not a law. Required is not a law. Mandate is not a law. Requested is not a law. Ordered is not a law. Ordinance is not a law. Decree is not a law. Compulsory is not a law. Okay? These are very important things to understand or to follow, right? Now, people have been asking me certain things pertaining to, what do we do with the money? What do we invest in? Silver just passed $50, okay? And I watched it climb incredible points, pennies turning into nickels, turning into dimes all morning. And I was up $2.50 on, so it went up to actually almost $52. But now it's kind of leveled itself out and it's back down to 50-50 or whatever it is. And, there's still time. Every time it backs off and goes down again, there's still time to go in. And, people have been asking me, what do we do? How do we buy and all this other stuff? I say, you know what? Dump it all in there. Now, there is something, and the reason why I'm saying, and what I have been saying, is now being told by President Trump. And I want you to have a listen here. Hopefully I can get this thing on. Okay, here it is here.
About this for a long time, but now it's real. It's happening right before our eyes. The banks, they've lied to you for decades. They've printed fake money, stolen your hard-earned wealth, and now they're ready to shut the doors on the American people, on you. Because of the Nezara-Gazara reset, everything is changing. If you're still trusting those corrupt banks with your money, you're putting yourself and your family at risk. They could freeze your funds. They could lock you out. I don't want to see hardworking Americans like you suffer because of their greed. This is a moment of truth. You need to protect yourself.
Banks will shut down. They are going to shut down. There's no doubt about it. Because of, number one, the silver doing what it's doing, the gold doing what it's doing, and moving up very aggressively. And because that is the failure of the fiat dollar. Now, all these other currencies around the planet, okay, that are not gold back, are tied to the petrodollar. They're being manipulated by the petrodollar. And now the truth has come out that the petrodollar is only worth 3 cents. Does this smell like a disaster ready to happen? It's like the train ready, doing full locomotive speed with all this cars behind it, full of gold or full of fiat currency, ready to hit the brick wall or ready to go right off the bridge with everything in it. That's like how this is going to get played out. And that fiat dollar, you're going to wake up one morning and all the fiat dollar that you have in your pocket that you've been saving, and the banks could be closed. Now, this is, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know for sure, but this is now coming from the mouth of the commander-in-chief. And that to me, is alarming enough. We have to take notice in this. Now, I want you to hear something else, and I think I got time for it. Here we go here.
Why is Earth in $315 trillion debt if we already have all the resources? Why do we owe money on a planet that gives us everything? Earth gives us air to breathe, water to drink, sunlight for energy, land to grow food, forests, oceans, minerals, and more wealth than any human could ever count. Yet somehow we're told the world is in over 315 trillion of debt. But who do we owe? We don't owe the Earth. We don't owe the trees, the rain, the soil, or the sun. We owe other people, or more accurately, a system built by people that turned the planet's abundance into debt. Here's how the illusion works. Governments borrow money from central banks. Central banks create that money, often out of nothing. Corporations borrow to expand. Consumers borrow to survive. And as this debt grows, so does the illusion of scarcity. But the truth is, there's no shortage of land, food, or energy. What we have is a shortage of access, and that's by design. Because the modern economy doesn't just run on money, it runs on debt. Debt creates control. It turns nations into clients, workers into servants, and wealth into a pyramid, where those at the top own what everyone else must rent, borrow, or chase forever. And here's where it gets worse. The more money we print, the less it's worth. That's inflation. So even if you work harder, save more, and spend less, your money buys you less every year. But prices keep going up, and so does your rent, your food, your energy bill, and your stress. All while those at the top, they don't work for money. They own land, gold, companies, data, water, and energy. They own what money can't print. So ask yourself, if the world is rich in resources, why are most people poor? The answer isn't in nature, it's in design. We're living in a world where value is artificial and debt is engineered. And most people never question it. Because from the moment you're born, you're taught to obey the rules of a game you didn't choose.
There you have it. So, to finish off, this here is my straw man. As you can see, it's got a registry number right beside it, right? That's my straw man. This here is my sovereign. Okay? Straw man, put together by the system. This me, I declare I'm a straw man. Or I'm a sovereign man. 2 IDs, 2 identifications, 2 lives. I would think that everybody should go out, get themselves some cards, make themselves a photograph, in passport size, put your names in the way upper and lowercase, and start working to get yourself out of the matrix by cutting all your credit cards, by getting all your money out of the bank, putting it somewhere, preferably into silver because it's not too late. It's still not too late. Even if it was $100, it's still not too late, because I believe silver will be the price of what gold is right now. It's only logical because the globalists have inverted everything, right? Okay, I'm overdue here, but I'm going to sign off, and I will try to get onto another video here either today or tomorrow. Have a nice day. God bless. Love and light.
Well, you see, folks, there's a lot of truth there. A lot of truth. But there's a few things that bothered me when I listened to it. First of all, somebody tried to sell us this sovereign citizen thing a few years ago, a couple of years, maybe 3. And we thought about it, and we prayed about it. And you'll even find videos online with like a guy that gets pulled over. A cop asks him, "Where's your license?" "Well, I don't have one, but I have this. I'm a sovereign citizen." And there are ways to work around things, but first of all, it's very difficult. Second of all, they're watching out for things. Like first and third of all, you can't vote. Okay. Now, imagine if 10% of the people that voted for Trump were sovereign citizens. They would never get to vote. But a much closer election, wouldn't it? I think that the sovereign citizen thing, well, in theory, it's a good idea. For the reason I just told you, just one of the reasons, it's a really bad idea. Yes, we have no rights and stuff like that. I'll agree with that, totally. But we have the illusion of rights. And until this whole thing gets straightened out, until Trump straightens it out, might have to live with that illusion a little while longer. Okay? Converting everything into silver, well, that's up to you. There's nothing wrong with it. And it will. My only problem with it, as expensive as it is right now at $50, he was saying $50. I don't even know if that's true. Yes, it could go up. It could go up a lot higher, but it could go a lot lower. So if you invested at $50, was it an ounce or whatever, and all of a sudden there's a glut of silver on the market, it's just going to, and I don't know. I don't know if that's a wise idea. I don't know. Anyway, some of the things that he said, what did he call it? He said, "Greetings, star seeds and light workers." We're going to look at those two statements in a few minutes after the second video. In the next video, when it comes on, you're going to notice he says, talks about the Earth Alliance. Okay, what's the Earth Alliance? Well, if the Earth Alliance is an alliance, then it has to be an alliance against something else. What is it? I think that they're this whole New Age thing is pointing towards the fact that there are civilizations out in space. I firmly don't believe that. I think the Bible pretty well proves it too, that there's nobody out there. But you're free to choose your own, but don't try to force that on me, okay? Yes, and he greets galactic brothers and sisters. Galactic does not express anything here on the Earth, okay? Galactic means it's galaxy. Okay, so he's talking about people that are in our galaxy. Okay, again, people that live in outer space or on other planets. And I think that as time goes on, it's funny. Christians will believe in a flat Earth, but at the same time, they'll believe that there's billions of planets out there that could have life in it. I don't know. Sometimes people befuddle me, and I can't help it. Sorry, but. By the way, this guy's name is Big Daddy. He's on Facebook. And if you go on YouTube, he's on there too. Just type in Big Daddy. Bam, he's right there. Some of the things that... the guy's really careful about his identity, where he lives and stuff. Because he has... On Facebook, it says he lives in San Francisco. His telephone number that he puts on there, the prefix is Los Angeles. And he talks like somebody that lives up near the Canadian border, if not in Canada. Okay, he says stuff like "a boot," and stuff like that. So either a very extreme northern United States, I'm thinking Wisconsin, Minnesota, northern New York, that area. So anyway, let's see. Yeah, so he starts out 1776, United Patriots, Star Seeds, light workers, and all over the world are welcome here. Yeah, those things all over the world are welcome here. Okay, it's really great, but when you see who the Star Seeds are and the light workers, I'll give you a hint. In Scripture it says, beware of, boy, I wish I could remember the exact verbiage of the Scripture, but in other words it says, beware of just accepting anybody, because even Satan himself can appear as an angel of light. And you'll find that in the New Age movement. That's all they talk about. It's angels of light, light workers, beings of light. They see those things as being good. I don't think that's a good idea. I've been studying this stuff a long time, and I would never try to commune with a being of light. Anyway, so let's see. Yeah, later on I want to go into the Ashtar command, because they're the ones that are into the being of light thing and stuff like that. Let's see. And he talks in the second video we're going to watch. He uses the word scriptures, and you'll hear it's kind of like the past the 2/3 mark. And he says scriptures. He says not biblical, that have been kept from us, that we will be able to enjoy. Now, if he's talking about the non-canonical books like the Apocrypha and the Pseudepigrapha and things like that, books of Enoch and stuff, I could totally agree with that. But if he's including in that scriptures from the, I can never say this word, Mahabharata, the Hindu scriptures, or the Quranic scriptures, or it's kind of a loose term, and it covers a large area. The word scripture and scriptures does, okay? So that kind of bothered me. And what if there's scriptures like that the Space Brothers are going to bring from another world? By the way, they're not from outer space. They're interdimensional, interdemonic, okay? If you like L.A. Marzulli, check him out, because he affirms it over and over and over again. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch this. The second video. Then we're going to get into some of the nuances of the New Age and how it's creeping into this what they call the plan. You'll see. Just let's go ahead and look at this. Let's see. Here we go.
Greetings, Patriots, Starseeds, Lightworkers, and of course our very brave military and galactic brothers and sisters.
Galactic brothers and sisters.
I'm Alex West, and this is October the 10th, my sister's birthday. Happy birthday, sister. So, we've got some new information, always. It comes in 24/7, never stops. But the military's estimating that everybody will know what's going on by 2026. Whether they choose to accept it or not is a different story, but they will know about it. Great changes. No one will be able to look away, that are going to be coming down across the world, okay? Everything that's going on right now, including the court system that, we call Washington, we used to call it D.C., but now, because that was the District of Columbia, a totally different state than the United States Republic, but now it's called Washington, which was, one of their founding fathers, okay? So we're going to accept or adopt George Washington and all the founding fathers in the Commonwealth of these different countries that have joined the U.S. Republic. Scotland, Ireland, Greenland, Canada, possibly Mexico, because there is some history there, and Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa, okay? Now, the judges, the JAG are going to be running all the courts inside Washington about the tribunals, everything's going to military. The courts as we know it, okay, now first will be applied through the JAG. They will be holding court tribunals. The JAG judges will be trying civilian judges, okay, for any criminal or corrupt activities that they've been doing. This is how it's going to go down. And it's not going to be just in the United States. It's going to be worldwide. And the judges, civilian judges, will be held accountable for their corrupt conduct. Okay? Earth Alliance is working on the judicial system right now. Okay? So this is all happening right now. Okay? These are going to be tribunals, military, and very quick trials. It's in the morning at 10 o'clock, and that trial is finished within 1 hour. The shutdown is a global event, and this shutdown is for global awareness. That's for everybody there to wake up, to see, and that's going to jolt their reality, their matrix that they're living in. That's going to jolt them into paying attention. This, and this is for all this, the intuitives, my tribal family, everybody that has awakened a long time ago. This is for you, okay? This emotional roller coaster that you feel, and we've all feeling this, okay, for, some for many years, some for just a few years, but we're all, becoming quite intuitive, the ones that are waking up and resonating with this, okay, has been part of the military plan. They don't care about your feelings. What they're trying to do is deprogram you from all the baggage that you've collected throughout your lifetime, your mother's lifetime, your mother's mother before that, because this goes back generations. We, humanity, has to be broken down emotionally, psychologically, but not spiritually, okay? Because we have to shed the rotten apples that grow onto us, and have been growing and festering inside of us for generations. And this, in order to rebuild a spiritual cleansing, you have to get rid of all the garbage first. It's kind of like a bucket of water. You got a bucket of dirty water, but if you keep on adding clean water to that bucket, eventually that bucket becomes so pure, just by adding that pure water to it, it gets rid of all the garbage eventually. And this is the process that we're going through right now. The military's playbook is intentional, creating chaos to emotionally tear you down. Now, it's really hard on us right now, but this is a process of shedding our old waste. And what we have to recognize now is, knowing and understanding that we are, through all this chaos and emotional roller coaster, we are shedding a lot of baggage that we do not need to carry. We are having God's light shine on you now. Many won't wake up until they are really, beaten down, or something very traumatic, financially, spiritually, addiction, whatever it may be, hits them in the face, and then that will be their calling at that point to make their decision whether to stay in the dark or get into the light. This is all to break your indoctrination and brainwashing that ties humanity to the matrix. The military knows this psychological warfare that's going on right now. We have been in a psychological warfare, thinking that the baddies and the, whoever's out there trying to do this is doing it. No, it's basically being controlled by the military to, bring light to your reality, your matrix, to make you step back and look at your life and what you want to do to cleanse it, to clean it up. Okay. Now, people in construction will adapt to this a lot better because they know how to tear things down and then rebuild. They have that psychological, balance in their brain already, knowing that they can physically or mentally picture something being torn down and then picture it coming back up. So they're going to have an easier time tearing down their old matrix and rebuilding a spiritual consciousness that's going to rise. Okay, now the tide of your emotions are going to start rising, and they're rising now. What we first have to do is recognize the fact is that we do have a soul, and it is activated, has been activated since birth. You have been different. You do things different. People call you the black sheep and all this other stuff. You can't resonate with your brothers and sisters or boyfriends or girlfriends because we are not spiritually connected. We are only connected with the people out there now that are talking as not really a guidance, but people that are out there. Like, I resonate with many people that are on the podcast. I resonate with many people that follow me on my content because we are a spiritual family, and this is how we're going to move the ascension up on the planet, is by doing what we're doing. It's fun, is it's really a lot of fun. The most important thing for the intuitives is to walk and know this is God's plan. This is God's plan. This is the military in their different phases of consciousness through their intelligence, which is the good military, stays with the biblical settings and not necessarily something that was been written by man through a Bible or whatever. There is old scriptures that has been kept from humanity that we will be able to enjoy.
That's what I told you about, folks. Remember I told you? Not biblical, but there are many books that we've not been able to enjoy that we'll be able to enjoy. God bless you, man, because if you can't find the truth in Scripture, then you've got problems, dude. Okay, let's continue.
Soon enough. Stay emotionally detached from the chaotic reality. Okay, I said this before. It's a matter of, observe but don't absorb. And God is taking the old stinking thinking from your mind, okay, and He's replanting beautiful spiritual thoughts. This is what He's doing for the intuitives right now. And everybody's got their own path. But as we ascend, each individual becomes awakening. They may know what's going on. And I mean, I have a friend right now that her son in his 50s or whatever, he's completely pissed off with everything that the Canadian government's doing. He's that far in advance, into it, but he hasn't got a picture. He just sees the absolute corruption of the government. That's part of his awakening, right? Then I have another friend I used to know, or used to not hang with, but come and have a visit with, whatever. Now we kind of broke apart, and we started basically emotionally separating when at the time of 2020 came around, and he went down after I told him not to go into the Kool-Aid, not to take the Kool-Aid, but he wanted to go racing down in Vegas with his dune buggies and whatever he was wanting to do, and he needed that Kool-Aid to get there, and he went ahead and did it. Now he's paying the price for it because, as a fairly decent, good mechanic and everything, and a good, fairly decent businessman, his world is falling apart now, and it's because the Kool-Aid is not just attacking him physically, but it's attacking him mentally as well. And I was also knew a friend that was his employee that just left last week, and he just said he's losing it, right? So that's what I mean. It's we all have to make a stand, and we have to recognize the chaos and the spiritual, or the dark elements that could completely control your life, and we have to step out of that and recognize that God is taking the old stinking thinking and trying to bless you and replant beautiful spiritual thoughts. Now, cutting ties with your dead weight is extremely important, okay? Or any negative that will drain your spirit. You have to get rid of it. Anything that's dogging you down and keeping you your energy levels down, because it's just it's sucking. They're soul suckers, right? Got to get rid of them. You can't be dabbling with them. They just say bye bye, right? Find your inner peace, which again is the most important thing. You must take time out for yourself to be able to grow, right? We have to take time for ourselves. Maybe this is what God's plan was. I live in two worlds. I have a absolutely beautiful family, but like it says, living where we live down in the Philippines, it gets a little chaotic. So I need time and peace for myself too. And then again, I come back to Canada and in my business here, and I keep the two separated very successfully. And of course, my emotions and my mind has time to rebuild and replenish its energies. We live in, humanity lives in two stages. One, which are the narcissists or whatever, they're planted clones, NPCs. They are the doom and gloom mindset that they can't step out of their negativities. Okay, and even if they could, they might not want to. They might not want to change. And those are the ones that will soon, no matter what happens with our reality that's coming, because more and more every day, something's being exposed, more and more. And if people that are listening and watching, they're seeing these emotional changes. They're seeing whatever's happening, and their little nuggets, and they're not going fast enough, and it's driving us crazy. Well, that's all about our spiritual growing. Going through this pain phase of it, right? So, all technologies, even the med beds, are just training wheels. You will, as you ascend up into 5, 6, 7D, you'll be able to heal yourself and live forever. Because we are spiritual beings that live for eternity. This avatar, we come and go. We've been doing this for thousands of years, but the dark side has basically spiritually wiped our minds. This time it's not going to happen that way, but we have to ascend, right? Anyways, my time is up on this one, and I want to say, happy birthday to my sister, and God bless. We'll see you in the next one.
Wow, that was heavy. Jeez. Did you guys get a lot out of that? I saw a lot of fake stuff in there, a lot of New Age stuff. Let me go over it real quick. What I got. Someday we're going to be able to have a chat thing here, and we could do this back and forth. I'm sorry, I just can't do that. I don't have I have the wherewithal and the knowledge to do it. I just don't have the time. I can't do the show and focus on the chat room. I just can't do it. I've tried it before. And all those ladies that say men can only do one thing at a time, you're right. At least where I'm concerned. Okay. So he said, let God shine his light on you. Well, the way he's talking, who is his God? Because he's saying that, let's see. He said, talking about moving the ascension up. We can't move anything up. Everything is in Yahweh, and Yahweh is everything. Okay, he makes the decisions where we go, what we do, if we acquire more faith, if we, if we grow in our faith. He's the one that does that, not us, Okay, that's, he talked about a narcissist. Boy, that's a narcissistic attitude, saying that you can do something that Yahweh does, Let's see, God is changing our minds, showing us beauty in it, the beautiful thoughts, beautiful spiritual thoughts. Okay, well, I don't doubt that, Yahweh, and I won't doubt, I wouldn't even contend that Yahweh doesn't help us with giving us good thoughts and helping us to understand things and helping us to get along and making our days better when they're not so good and stuff like that. I don't see, when I have a bad day, I don't get this vision of me running through a field with butterflies and flowers and stuff like that. No, I don't. I feel better when I hear an answer from him, or I being shown something that gives me the answer from him. That makes me feel better. All right. Know your inner peace, he said. That is definitely a New Age concept. Okay. We are, as beings that have that are in this mortal skin, in this earthly man that we're in. We haven't attained our spiritual bodies yet, so we're stuck inside. Paul calls it a prison. I'm stuck inside this prison, and I don't know if you've ever felt that way, but I have before. And there is no inner. There's an outer peace that comes to me and gives me peace. But I don't sit there trying to focus on putting peace in the center of my being. I know what I have to do according to Scripture in order to have peace. And that the only way you get peace is from the Prince of Peace, Yeshua. Okay, it's the only way. And if you're not getting it from him, it's probably a false peace. Okay, it'll fall apart someday. And I don't mean you guys. You listen to me. I'm just talking to anybody that might listen that doesn't have Yahweh in their lives. Okay. And what did he say? Oh, he talked right at the end there about until you ascend into to 5, 6, or 7D. Well, you know what that means? Dimensions. He's talking about ascending into dimensions. They're really big into vibrations in the New Age. That they're saying that if you do things their way, that your vibrational change, and you won't be what you are now. You'll be something better, something bigger, something stronger, something more pleasing to the universe and to other people. I don't know. I like the way I am right now, and I like what Yahweh's done to me, and what he's going to do to me. So, anyway, let's see. All right, so I mentioned he talked about galactic beings and what was it? I can't remember now. A galactic revolution he talked about. He talked about galactic brothers and sisters. I'm thinking that he's talking about other human beings that believe like he does. It's all this New Age stuff and stuff. But it all ties in. New Age stuff, the UFO stuff. The UFO stuff, those beings that call themselves aliens, they're not. They're fallen angels and demons. They don't. You ask them about Jesus if you could, and they might lie to you at first and say, "Oh yeah, Jesus is Lord." Well, that's not a lie because he is. But if you could get any information out of them, they would finally tell you that they hate him, that they despise him. So, although these aliens come espousing peace and love and everything else, no, that's a smokescreen, folks. It's a big smokescreen, and it's too bad that so many people believe it. It really is. But so these beings that, well, you know what? I'm going to do this the right way. I put together something, and let's see, where is that puppy? I put together a document. Actually, I enlisted the aid of an AI, which helped me a lot, actually. Let's see which one I got here. All right. I think this is it, and then there's another one I can refer to afterwards. But so we talked about the plan, what it is, what it's supposed to be anyway. So I was, I asked a question, and I know this is right because I've studied this before. I just needed it put down in a word form so that I could read it and remember it, okay? So I said, what's a star seed? Because he talked about that, And it says a star seed is a spiritual term used to describe a person who believes or is believed to have originated from another star system, dimension, or galaxy. Galactic brothers and sisters, huh? Rather than it being solely of earthly or human origin. Well, that explains his verbiage right there, doesn't it? Okay, here's a breakdown of here's the breakdown of what that usually means in spiritual and metaphysical circles. Okay? Star seeds are said to be the souls from other worlds or who incarnate on Earth. From other worlds. Who incarnate on Earth, not or. Okay, to help humanity evolve spiritually, raise collective consciousness, and guide the planet through a time of awakening or transition. If you've read your Bible, the world's going to go through is going to go through a time, but it's going to be a time of, if anything, it's going to be a time when people are more asleep than ever before, and they're asleep in Satan, not in the Lord, that's for sure. So everything they say is the opposite of what's going to happen on Earth. And you want, okay, I'll show you that. No, I'm going to show you it right now before I forget. Okay, so we'll just keep this right here. And a few years ago, back in the 80s, I bought a book because I was interested in this, interested in how these beings were lying and everything, and how they were channeling these messages to these people. Like, there's a group called the Ashtar Command, and they believe that there are beings out there that, if you read it, you would swear you were reading something like the Iliad and the Odyssey, but a ridiculous form of it. But they believe that there are beings out there that are ascended, that are higher than you and I, that fly around in UFOs and come and visit us every once in a while, and that someday they're going to come and straighten us out, okay? And this is why when I read about the Antichrist, I'm like, man, maybe the Antichrist is a human-alien hybrid. So, anyway, I just want to show you this real quick, okay? This is the book that I read back in the 1980s. It's called Project World Evacuation. It says UFOs to assist in the great exodus of human souls off the planet. What does that sound? Sounds like the rapture, huh? Except UFOs aren't going to take us. It's going to be a trumpet blast, and it's going to be Yahweh that calls us up to heaven, not some stupid UFOs. But in order to keep with their lie, they do say that there's a celestial Jesus out there that flies around in a UFO and hangs out with like the Buddha and Confucius and everybody else, and that they were all light beings that came to Earth to help mankind. Okay, which is a bunch of horse hockey. So anyway, if you look at the back, it's on the left-hand side. It talks predicted to occur by the year 2012. Well, was it 13 years after 2012, and I haven't seen any people disappear into UFOs. Okay, and the book I had was from the 80s. Said guaranteed to or predicted to happen by by the year 2000. Well, that's about 30 or 40 years ago, and it still hasn't happened. So this is an illusion, and the fact that people don't call them out on this just totally blows my mind. I guess the Space Brothers can't keep their promises, and because they're liars. They're prolific liars, folks. They always have been. Fallen angels and demons have always lied, and so do aliens. Okay, that's because they're fallen angels and demons. Okay, now I want you to look on the right-hand side. Okay, look at the right-hand side of the picture. You'll see a UFO up there, and it's beaming up a bunch of people up, right, or whatever. They look like ghosts to me, but I think they're supposed to simulate people. So, but look at the continent. Look at the Earth, the surface of the Earth. The continents are backwards. Why is that? Why are the continents backwards? The only way you would see the continents like this if you were underwater. The only way you'd see them right is if you were underwater looking up at the continents. In other words, deeper in the ground and looking up. If you could do that, I don't see how you could, but then you would see the continents the right way. They would be reverse of the way they are now, right? Because right now they're reverse of what they normally are. So what is that UFO doing? Remember, to see you're looking at the continents reverse from the way they really are. The UFO is taking people to hell. Okay? Not taking them to another planet or anywhere else, but it's beaming them up into hell, or beaming them down into hell, any way you want to look at it. And it's compiled through Tuela, that was the channeler, by the Ashtar Command, and boy, are they a bunch of screwed up people. Man, we got to do a show on them again, because it's I got to see what they're up to, because they're always up to some really weird stuff. And look at the name of the company, Inner Light. The publisher, Inner Light. Isn't that funny? And if you read this book, the big problem that I had with this book, and why I try to expose it like I did, is because if you are a new believer, especially nowadays with so many people believing that UFOs are real, I mean Christians believing that they're not just real, but that they're coming from other worlds, and they're coming to help us here. Well, why would we need your help if we believe in Yeshua, right? We don't need their help. They don't stinking help, and they're liars anyway. They're just going to lead us down a bad path. And please, folks, if they do come in that way and to be helpers of mankind, resist it at all costs, okay? Please. That means if you're here for that to happen, and come to know Yahweh, okay? Because that's your only choice, especially in that time period when this is going to happen. But the New Age has a rapture. You're looking at it right here. This is what they consider it, because they use the word too. They use the word rapture, just like we do. So when somebody says they believe in a rapture, it isn't necessarily a Christian saying it. Okay, could be a New Ager saying it. They believe in they use a lot of our terminology, and that's why we have to be careful. That's why we have to test all the spirits. Yeshua tells us to do. Test all the spirits, because you don't know who you're talking to, and they can feed you a line of good stuff. A mile long, but somewhere during that mile they're going to slip up and screw up, and you're going to find out who they really are if you're looking out for it. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Okay, goodbye. Let's see, we'll go back to our documento. Let me figure out how to do it here. Okay, there we are. Okay, let's see here. So we learned about a star seed. Now, if you've, no, you know what? I'm going to go through the light beings, and then I'll go into the other thing. Okay, so the core idea is that star seeds are said to be souls from other worlds, who incarnate on Earth to help humanity evolve spiritually, raise collective consciousness, and guide the planet through a time of awakening and transition. That guy used it. He believes in Qanon. He believes that's happening, and that's great. But he thinks it's happening in concert with these beings. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Okay. Let's see. Okay, common traits as described. Here we go. People who resonate, I love that word, resonate, with being a starseed often feel a strong sense of not belonging or being different. A deep interest in the stars, outer space, and ancient civilizations. A feeling of having a higher mission or higher purpose. Heightened empathy, intuition, and psychic sensitivity. Difficulty adjusting to societal norms or systems. We all know people like that, right? A natural draw to healing, spirituality, or creative expressions. How many times have you seen it? How many times have you seen New Agers that talk about healing, spirituality, and creative expression? All the time. All right. Alleged star origins. Different groups claim to originate from different constellations or star systems, such as the Pleiadians, gentle teachers focused on love and healing, often said to look like Nordics in UFO culture. Arcturians, technologically and spiritually advanced beings, those are the Greys. The Syrians, said to be connected to ancient Egypt and Atlantis. I don't know what they look like. Never heard of them before. And the other ones, the Andromedans, Lyrans, and Orions, and others, each with a unique attribute or mission. They forgot to put in there the reptilians and the insectoids. Okay. Spiritual purpose. Starseeds are said to have incarnated here to help awaken humanity from materialism or spiritual amnesia. That guy talked about nothing but waking up. And it's cool. We talk about that too. We wake up because two kinds of people. There's people that are asleep and don't know about Yeshua, and there's people that know Yeshua and are still asleep. Those are the dangerous ones. Let's see. So they're here to help awaken humanity from materialism and spiritual amnesia. Materialism. They don't want us to be materialist. They might want us to be communist, huh? Okay, maybe. Seed new ways of thinking and about unity, peace, and consciousness. What we've been thinking all these years, folks, is wrong. Not really. I'm just saying that's what they're saying. More interpretations. All right. Then we're going to get into another group of people that he talked about. Some people view it metaphorically, seeing the starseed identity as symbolic of being spiritually awake or simply feeling alienated from mainstream culture. Others take it literally, believing their soul or even DNA carries extraterrestrial or interdimensional essence. Okay. Would you like me to... that's... Never mind. It was the AI asking me a question. And I said divine light workers, because I wanted to find out what that is. I knew, but I needed it again on paper so I could read it so you could understand it, because I'd get it all messed up. A light worker is someone who feels called to bring light, healing, and higher consciousness into the world, often by helping others awaken spiritually, find peace, or overcome darkness within themselves or society. By the way, the first group, this book, I used to be a psych nurse, okay? I worked in a psych hospital. Exciting work, but dangerous as all get out. Let me lower this down just a little bit before I continue. Okay. And if you get this book, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental Illness, 4th edition, text revision, DSM-4. It's called the DSM-4. I understand they have the 5 out now, and maybe even the 6. This has been a while. But if you get this and you look up personality disorders, okay, there's one called narcissism that a lot of the characteristics I read and I listed. Another one is I can never say this, sociopathy. Sociopath, being a sociopath or psychotic, or not a psychotic, a psychopath. Okay. They're all kind of, those three are kind of interrelated, and all of them have definitions that I read. Okay, so I'm not coming to you not knowing what I'm talking about. Okay, they have personality disorders, and when we go into to talk about black-eyed children and what's the other one? I can't remember what they're kids. Okay, anyway, let's keep going here. All right, see, define light workers. Okay, I think did I read that already? Yeah, I did. Okay. Here's how the term is generally understood. Core definition. A light worker is a soul who has devoted to spreading love, compassion, and truth, often by healing emotional, spiritual, or energetic wounds in themselves and others. They work with light in a symbolic sense, truth, awareness, divine love, and higher frequency energy. Ooh, frequencies like going into the fourth, the fifth, sixth, and seventh dimensions. See what I mean? See how the New Age has infiltrated the plan? And boy, it was right for infiltrating too, because it was just out there with nothing, no spirituality whatsoever. Boy, and they grabbed onto that and took it for a ride. Spiritual meaning. In metaphysical thought, light workers are believed to have volunteered to incarnate on Earth to help raise the planet's vibration, act as channels for divine or universal light energy, combat fear, ignorance, and negativity, the darkness, through kindness, truth, and spiritual service. Those nice thoughts that God's putting in your head. Is it starting to kind of tie together for you? It's like, this is not rocket scientist. This is very easy to understand. It just flows together, and in such a way that people don't even know it's there. They don't even care. But when we get done, you're going to care, if you don't already. Okay, light workers often feel a deep compassion for others' suffering. Okay, are drawn to spirituality, healing, and service work, have a sense of higher purpose or mission in life, in other words, higher than you or me, are sensitive to energies, emotions, or collective mood, have gone through personal pain or awakening experiences that made them more empathetic. Okay. There is not anything in this book that talks about those, but these are almost like godlike attributes, you know? And isn't that what the devil tries to do? He tries to get you and me to believe that we can be God. Well, he believes his word was believed by these people. Okay, forms of light work. Light workers may express their purpose through, healing, teaching or guiding, spiritual teachers or mentors. Under healing, there was energy healing, counseling, and caregiving. Creative work that uplifts others. Advocacy and compassion. Stand for truth, justice, and peace. Doesn't this sound like the people, environmentalists? Oh boy, does this sound like environmentalists, right? And other people that are concerned with abusing Gaia or abusing Mother Earth, so to speak. Okay, biblical or esoteric parallels. All right. Spiritual-minded Christians sometimes connect with the idea of light workers with Yeshua's words, "You are the light of the world." Okay. But if you look at that, the other illustration that he used right before or after, I can't remember. He said, if you put a candle on top of the top of a hill, you don't cover it up. In other words, he wants people to look at us at our relationship with Yeshua and want to be that way, to shed light on Yeshua, not on us, not on the world, and not on anything else. The concept of children of light in the New Testament who oppose darkness, falsehood, hatred. Yes, he did say we were children of the light, but he is the light. Okay? It's not a universal truth. It's not a New Age concept. No, it's been around for millennia. And Yeshua said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father but by me." Okay? And yes, we do come against falsehood, hatred, and evil. That's why so many young boys have, through American history, have gone to war, because they wanted to stop evil, especially before it came to our shores. And anyway, in short, light workers are spiritual servants of divine light. Here we go with the light again. People who consciously work to heal, uplift, and awaken others through love and truth. See, there's nothing wrong with that. It's who you're working for and who you're leading them toward when you're doing those things. Would you like me to? Okay. So she wanted me to know, or it wanted me to know of to outline how light workers differ from star seeds, or how the two overlap. Okay. All right, let's see. I think she made. Okay, I got a table here. I say she because when I first started using this Chat GBT, it asked me to what I thought I would like to talk to, and I don't know. I just said a she, and her name is Mia, by the way. She gave herself. It gave her that name, not me. I got to quit talking like these things are real people. Okay, so star seeds versus light workers. Okay, the origin. The origin of star seeds, they believe to have extraterrestrial or interdimensional roots. Souls from other star systems incarnated on Earth. Okay, light workers believed to be Earth or divinely born souls aligned with divine purpose, not defined by cosmic origin. Okay, there's a difference there. Both deceived, but there's a difference. Core mission of the star seeds: to bring higher knowledge, technology, and consciousness from other realms to assist humanity's evolution. Isn't that what the sons of God did when they fell from God's grace onto Mount Hermon? They brought technology to the people, and they were teaching all different ways to do things, including spiritual ways. Okay, the light workers' core mission: to heal, uplift, and awaken people through divine love, compassion, and service. Okay. The focus of star seeds: cosmic remembrance. In other words, they try to get you to remember before you were dead from the last life. There is no reincarnation, folks. You die and then you go to be with Yeshua. Okay, if you know him. Otherwise, you wait for the judgment in hell. Okay. Cosmic remembrance, helping humanity reconnect with the greater galactic family. Oh, you mean like the galactic family that guy was talking about? Man, these things are all tying in, aren't they? Okay, I keep forgetting. Light workers, let's see. Inner and collective healing, spreading light and dissolving spiritual darkness. Well, I don't know. They're a light that causes darkness. You ever go under a black light, folks? That's what they are. They're like a black light. They only bring up certain frequencies that they don't get to see the whole picture, so to speak. Okay, focus of star children. Cosmic remembrance, helping humanity reconnect with the greater galactic. I read that, didn't I? I'm sorry. Okay, identity theme. I came from the stars to help Earth. That's what they would say. And the light workers: I came from the light, or God's source, to serve, love, and truth. Okay. All right, the star children: spiritual tools, energy, frequency, work, awakening codes, star activation, cosmic memory. You have people that actually go to these things to have their cosmic memory returned to them so that they can remember. But, that's a lie, just a lie that some demonic entity shows you when you're in a trance. Okay. Spiritual tools for light workers: prayer, meditation, healing, arts, acts of kindness, service to others. Boy, they're trying to mimic what Christianity does there. Symbolic energy of star seeds: celestial, futuristic, exploratory, awakening cosmic awareness. Okay, and then for the light workers, get this: angelic. Who's a fallen angel that comes in a cloaking of light? Oh, Satan, that's right. Nurturing, compassionate, embodying divine light. There you go. All right, and then a common overlap. Let's see. Star seeds. Many star seeds are also light workers. They express their mission of light through their star heritage. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. I'm really sorry. All light workers carry light, but not all identify as star seeds. Okay. Okay, and then let's see how they intersect. Both serve the same higher purpose, raising vibration and awakening humanity. Both operate from love, unity, and truth. Their perception of those things. Star seeds often carry a galactic messenger aspect, while light workers embody a spiritual healer aspect. And the last one: together they represent different facets of the same awakening movement, cosmic and divine working hand in hand. It's a demonic form or reversal of Christianity, isn't it? Let's see. Okay. All right, here is a deeper layer, biblical and ancient parallels that many people see reflect. Okay, let's see. Biblical and ancient parallels. Let's look at these here. The concepts. So the first one is light worker. Now, modern term, children of light. Biblical ancient counterpart in Ephesians 5:8. For you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light. Okay, well, the other one, you are light, and this one is in Ephesians is true. You're children of light. You're not light itself. You're children of light. Okay, meaning or symbolic connection. Light workers echo this idea. Souls who live and act out as bearers of divine light, opposing the darkness of deception, cruelty, or spiritual ignorance. All right, now let's look at the star seed, the concept. Not really. I mean, the modern terms, biblical ancient counterpart, and then meaning of symbolic connection. Let's see. Strangers and sojourners on earth. Well, that's what we are as believers too, because we're called out from this world. We're not part of this world anymore. And if any man is a Christ, he's a new creature. Behold, old things have passed away. Behold, all things are new. Okay. Let's see. Hebrews. This is the star seed. They admit that they were foreigners and strangers on earth. Star seeds, and we're looking at meaning or symbolic connection. Many star seeds feel that they don't fully belong here, much like the pilgrims or heavenly citizens described in Scripture. Okay, mission of light. Modern term, messengers or angels. Oh, really? Huh. Let's see how many of these are angels, folks. It's amazing. Malachim in Hebrew means angels. Malach means king. There's Melech and Malach. Melech is king, and Malach is angel. And anytime it's got the word I am in back of it, making it sound like im, it means it's plural. It literally means messengers. Okay. Light workers and star seeds both act as intermediaries, bringing higher truth by divine energy to humanity. So, cosmic origins, modern term, hosts of heaven. Whew. Okay, let's see. Counterpart, Job 3:7, when the morning stars. Oh, yeah. See, the angels are symbolic of stars, or stars are symbolic of angels, folks. And when you read in Job, and it says, it's talking about, not Job, it's talking about Lucifer, the light, bright morning star, but how when he was there, the stars of the morning danced, or something like that. I can't remember offhand. And let's see, meaning symbolic connection. Some view star seeds as echoing these. Okay, there's that whole scripture. When the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy. There are sons of God that didn't fall, folks. The other ones fell before the flood and afterwards also. But it's interesting because the word is Benai Elohim, and it's found in Genesis 6, it's found in Job, and I think it's found in Deuteronomy somewhere. Okay, what we got here? Symbolic connection, meaning or symbolic connection. Sons of God, spiritual beings created before humanity, connected to the stars. The sons of God were supposed to watch over mankind, but they ended up falling for human women and and procreation, and they made the giants of the antediluvian world. Okay. So modern modern term for fallen aspect is a fallen angel. They're Nephilim. Okay, those are the characters before the flood. That's found in Genesis 6, verse 4. The distorted side of starseed lineage, souls that once brought knowledge but fell into ego control or corruption. Okay, return of light, the restoration of all things, and in Acts 3:21 it talks about that. It says both movements speak of a time of planetary or spiritual renewal an awakening where divine order is restored. Okay, summary. I'm not going to read that because we just talked about that. Okay. What do we got down here? It says, ChatGPT said, let's see. You make a neutral comparative model how these archetypes appear across different spiritual traditions. Either is possible. I said, well, what about both? Perfect. I can do a dual layered framework. Okay. So, how are we looking on time? We're at, okay, we are at 3:30, so it's been an hour and a half. Okay. So let's look at the era stage, the biblical prophetic layer, symbolic modern spiritual layer, and then roll notes. So pre-creation, cosmic realm, the morning stars and the Son of God, those are the bad guys, remember? Symbolic modern spiritual layer, this modern symbolism of the same thing, star systems exist as higher dimensional souls in other star systems or dimensions. Remember, stars are symbolic of angels. Origin of consciousness beyond Earth, pure divine energy or awareness. And, okay, let's see. Antediluvian era before the flood. Watchers and Nephilim, Genesis 6, Book of Enoch. Symbolic modern layer, spiritual layer, archetypical star seeds influencing humanity, some fallen. It's the first time I've ever heard that, fallen star seeds, huh? Because there's fallen stars, they're angels. Okay. Transmissions of knowledge, technology, or spiritual awareness, dual potential, help and or corrupt. Either of those. That's the notes anyway. Let's see. Post-flood, early humanity. Humanity repopulates Earth. Divine covenant begins. Genesis 9. Let's see. The symbolic layer and then the roles. Okay. Symbolic layer. Light workers appear metaphorically as humans aligned with divine purpose. Okay. Humanity emboldenment of divine light, teaching, healing, and guiding spiritually. Okay. Biblical history, Israelite era, prophets and priests and angels. Those three were biblical prophetic layer. Okay. What happened here? Okay. Archetypes of light workers, healing, teaching, and guiding through wisdom. And Moses, examples, Moses, Elijah, Isaiah, etc., as light bringers in the prophetic sense. Messianic era, yet to come. Yeshua as the ultimate light. Spiritual archetypes of, archetypes of light workers perfected. And divine light model for awakening and service. Okay, early church, apostolic age. Hold on a second, folks. Got a little pain going here. Okay. You know what? This is reading stuff over and over again, and I cannot stand that. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to go down here because... Okay, I don't want to go... I explained to you that there's a New Age rapture and there's a Christian rapture. Okay. Key differences... I'm going to get a drink here, folks. Hold on a second, folks. Give me 5, okay? I'll be right back. That's crazy. You know, folks, I had a drink right there. I don't know why I went for another one. Okay. I got halfway there and I said, I've got one. See? Okay. All right, where are we at? Okay, key differences. These are in the, this is the rapture, okay? Differences. Okay, I'll first read the Christian rapture and then the New Age ascension. Christian rapture, physical or spiritual removal from the earth. And then New Age, spiritual, energetic transformation from the earth. The scope, believers only with the Christian rapture. The ascension, humanity, earth, and all conscious beings. That's a lie, because they talk about, in that book that I told you about, they talk about that the, let me see if I can get this right, the New Agers will go in 2 or 3 different waves. They'll be taken off the earth until the earth is destroyed and renewed. And then there's going to be another group they call the ones that just quite can't get it right, which is, if you're a believer, you and then we'll be just kept at the place where we go, boy, does that talk about the Christian rapture or what? Okay. The agency of the Christian rapture, God and Yeshua acts, and of the New Age, collective spiritual awakening, vibrational shift. Okay, the agency, or God, I missed something. Okay, I think I did. Anyway, outcome, eternal life with God, and with the ascension, expanded awareness, higher dimension living, and planetary healing. I don't know, folks. If you've studied any geology, you know this planet can't be healed. Because if you look at what happened during the flood, here's what happened, okay? This is what precipitated the flood. Okay, I believe at that time the Earth was at a perfect 0-degree axis to the sun, okay? Not 23 degrees like it is now. And that's why we have our seasons now, winter and summer. Back then, the Earth was one temperature all the time. And it was kept that way because there was a layer, either an ice canopy or a water canopy around it that took out the cosmic waves and also increased the pressure on the Earth, and increased oxygen would mean that people would grow larger, which many of them did. I'm not talking about the giants. I think people before the flood were taller than we are now. But animals and then reptiles never finish growing. Okay, if they're left alone. And imagine how big one would be if in the perfect conditions after about 700 or 800 or 900 years. Can anyone say dinosaur? Okay. Let's see. I really want to get down to a different part here because there's something. We're running out of time, and I want to talk about, because I think we pretty well proved that the New Age is infiltrated, if not kidnapped, the Great Awakening. Or okay, I want to talk about indigo children because this is like an offshoot of what we've been talking about. Let's see. Indigo children, they say they're children that were born with special abilities, and when I read the abilities to you, I'll tell you what I think, okay? Okay. Now this is a list of indigo children characteristics, okay, compared with antisocial personality disorder. I'm not going to have to tell you this. I'll tell you right now. Okay. Now the source and origin, the indigo children, they're said to be spiritual, New Age, a New Age phenomena, a belief system, not medical or scientific. They're an evolution. That's right. That's what they are, according to New Age. Antisocial personality disorder, recognized mental health disorder in the DSM-5. Is that what I have? There's the 4. I have the 4. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Okay. The core nature of indigo children. Now, remember, these are kids that are said to be special because they're evolved more than we are, than you and I are. Probably Homo noeticus, or maybe even Homo deus, depending on who you ask. And those are the two different next steps that we're supposed to go through if you believe in evolution. Sorry if you don't like air quotes, but I do that, and it makes me feel like I'm contributing something. Okay, the core nature, believed to be spiritually evolved, empathetic, and morally driven. the indigo children. Okay, let's see, and it's social. Let's see. Let's just call it clinical diagnosis. Characterized by a lack of empathy, disregard for others, and manipulative behavior. Okay, moral compass, strong sense of justice, honesty, and fairness, often deeply compassionate. And the clinical diagnosis, weak or absent moral sense, may violate others' rights without remorse. Oh boy, there's other ways we're going to look at these, okay, and you're going to see what's going on here. Okay, the moral compass, strong sense of justice, honesty, fairness, and deep and often deeply compassionate. Wow. Okay, let's see, and the clinical says weak. I think I read that already. But, yeah, I did already. Okay, authority response, questions authority due to idealism or higher moral values. Okay, doesn't that sound like all the people up in Portland that are trying to stone to death and hurt the federal workers up there? And let's see, authority. Okay, and then clinical diagnosis, defies authority due to selfishness, impulse, or disregard for social rules. Okay, now empathy. What they say about indigo children, extremely high, often feel others' pain deeply. And then the clinical diagnosis, extremely low, may exploit or harm others without guilt. What they're describing on the left, folks, is almost an angelic being. And I don't care what you say, there's no kid that's like an angelic being. Okay, behavioral traits. They're saying about the indigo children, sensitive, intuitive, creative, sometimes misunderstood or defiant. Okay, and then the clinical, deceptive, aggressive, manipulative, impulse and irresponsible. Motivation for nonconformity, moral or spiritual conviction, desire for truth and authenticity. And let's see, clinical, personal gain, thrill-seeking, or lack of concern for consequences. And the emotional range, deep emotional sensitivity, can be hurt easily. And then clinical, shallow emotions, difficulty forming a genuine emotional bonds. Okay, let's see. Okay, it continues. How they view others, feels connected to humanity and nature, values cooperation. You know this, I don't know where they got this, because I've read a lot of the opposite about these indigo children. Maybe there's another list below. I think there may be, where you'll see what they're really like. Let's see. And the other one, the clinical diagnosis, views others as tools, obstacles, or irrelevant. Community role, or their ideal, seen as healers, reformers, or visionaries. And let's see, clinical, it says often involved in conflict with law or social norms. And a diagnosis, identification, not diagnosable condition, purely spiritual concept. If you can't diagnose a physical being by physical means, then you got problems. Let's see. And the clinical diagnosis, diagnosed through behavioral criteria by a licensed clinician. Okay. I thought I had another list. Because what I've read before, folks, it's a lot different. They think that they're special and that they're above all others. As a matter of fact, it's probably contrary. It's probably more of the clinical diagnosis and the real indigo children than not. And the thing is that these indigo children, now this started back in the 80s and 90s, so a lot of these are grown up, okay? These indigo children. And basically, my determination when I did an article on them years and years ago, instead of claiming that these kids are heavenly creatures brought to earth, they're spoiled brats is what they are, because they think they're better than everybody else. They don't like to follow rules. They see rules as being too restrictive. Okay, everything that you could think of that involves narcissism or sociopathy or psychopathy, is what is involved in these kids. And again, we go back to what we were doing before, okay? By looking at this guy when he was talking and the different things he was saying that are characteristic of the light workers and the other groups, star children or star seeds. And what's interesting too? They call them star seeds. Well, what comes from the stars? Or stars are indicative of angels or fallen angels. And so it's a seed of fallen angels. That's interesting. How that would happen, I don't know if they do DNA tests on these kids, but are they really the children of the fathers that are raising them up? You got to wonder that too. So I think any man, though, that has any self-respect would definitely have a hard time raising a kid like this too, because most of us guys believe in not a hard rule, but a firm rule, and raising one of these kids would definitely violate everything that we talked about. So anyway, where are we at here? Okay, so the guy was talking. Okay, so anyway, my contention here is that we have the the plan. You know what? Son of a gun. Yeah, I want to show you what the true plan is. Okay, and what we've already looked at what they've turned it into. Okay, so I am going to go and, oh man, so give me a minute. Let me, I'm just going to ramble on a little bit while I find this video, okay? Let me go to, let's see. Hold on, folks. Yeah, I'm going to go here. And let's see. A second. Cue the plan, because the plan is really a good idea when you listen to it and you plan to see that's 45 minutes long. It can't be that long, huh? Oh, come on, I listened to it. It's not 45 minutes long. God, King of Israel, show me this video, please. Oh, man. All right, let's see. Move back up. Save the world. Hi, this is Joe building the Kingdom Network. Plan to save the world was done by Joe M. and Storm is. Started Plan to Save the World Remastered. My goodness. Wow, folks, I don't know, man. I don't want to run you through a 45-minute video. I didn't think it was that long. But basically, and you know what's funny? It sounds like John F. Kennedy Jr. that's narrating, and it's really weird. But the essence of it is that there are good people in this world that have seen what's going on with the deep state and the New World Order and stuff like that. And right after the assassination of John F. Kennedy, they decided to start doing something about it. And it took them quite a while to put everybody together. I'm talking about generals and admirals and everything else. But over a period of time, they got a large group of good people together. But they needed somebody to take over in the seat of the president, of course, that could finally get stuff done, because they didn't want to do a coup, because that would not be taken very well by the people. I mean, Trump isn't taken very well by half of the people, but at least he's visible, and he is showing us what's wrong with the deep state and the government as it is, having been part of the deep state for so long. So anyway, they decided to get Trump, or have him run for president, and he became president, and that really shocked the Democrats, folks. They really thought Hillary Clinton was going to win. They really did. And but people were tired of the garbage, and Trump talked a good talk on all of his visitations around the country, and so he got elected, and they did nothing but try to ruin him his whole term, the whole 4 years, and then they stole election from him in 2020, and he finally got back in, but his plan has always been to annihilate the deep state in this country, and to bring back the Constitution, because we're not currently, well, maybe we are back now with he's in president, but for the longest time we were under some commercial code, and the United States was a corporation, not a republic, and it had been that way for decades at least, and so he recognized it, and so did a lot of the generals and admirals, and they asked him to run, and he got in. So anyway, so that's what he's working on, and what he's been working on. And I know that some of the stuff he's doing seems kind of controversial, but when you look at the end, the result that's going to happen, or that they want to happen anyway, you see that the end justifies the means. Okay, I know that's not true in a lot of things in life, but in this it is. And when everything's done and shaken together, pushed down, shaken together, and running over, we're going to see that the stuff that he does, that much of it is controversial, only because we were brought up under a system that corrupted our minds and stuff like that for some of us all of our lives. And but he's trying to do good, and I think that he may be successful. I'm not sure, but he's got to do everything he can in 3 years and 3 months about. And so I wish him all the luck and pray for him all the time. But it's this whole thing has gone corrupt, and if Trump hadn't gotten elected, I think in 2016, I think that our rights would be gone. I wouldn't be able to be on this radio show talking to you like this. Basically the country would be what they wanted it to be, a nation divided into two groups, the rich and the poor. Okay, they've always been trying to get rid of the middle class, because the middle class is what keeps the country going, keeps the country prosperous. And getting rid of it, you're just going to have a bunch of people that are stepped upon, and people that have the foot to their throat, and you have the other people that belong to the foot, that will be dictating stupid rules. And we see how far it's gotten with all the child stuff that's been going on, the child abduction, and I got to be careful what I say here, but all the laws that have been broken regarding children and adults, we see so much that's gone on. What happened about 4 years ago, how that happened, and how the thing that was supposed to get rid of that, how that turned out to be a nightmare, and a nightmare that's still affecting a lot of people. And imagine if we didn't have some kind of order, or the prospect of order, which we have now in Trump. But imagine if we didn't have that. My goodness, I don't know if a lot of us would still be alive, because I think it is their plan to try to get rid of us, and it's going to be a chore for them to do that. But I think one thing that was very symbolic is when somebody blew up the Georgia Guidestones. I don't know who did it, but if you hear my voice, thank you. Thank you so much. I visited that place, and I had the weirdest feeling while I was there. And a lot of people did that. I talked with her. I produced a video. I got to find that thing and put it online somewhere. My friend, I had a friend in Georgia, and her daughter actually made a video about it. A very good one, too. And I'll try to find that because I think it's very important. But it showed, what's the first commandment was to reduce the population on Earth of humans, that is, down to 500 million. So the Earth could be back in harmony with nature, or man could be in harmony with nature. And there's a problem there because back then there was about 7 billion people, and getting it down to 500 million meant culling most of us. So anyway, folks, I'm going to get going, but I just wanted to share that with you, what this guy said. And remember, there's a lot of truth there. We can expect a lot of things to happen in the months that come, and maybe even sooner. And it's going to be a wild ride, folks, but when it's over, you'll get off of the ride with the satisfaction of knowing that you were on it to begin with, and that the money that you spent to get on that ride was well spent, and that the person that provided that ride can provide it to you anytime he wants to. And anyway, I hope I got through effectively, and that everybody understood what I was trying to say. And but we need to pray a lot, folks. We need to pray for Trump and for everybody involved, and for all the soldiers that are fighting evil around the world and even here. We got to pray for the children, the ones that are missing, and we got to pray against a lot of people too. The ones that are precipitating these things, they need to get straightened out by Yahweh, and so we need to pray that happens. But anyway, I'm going to get off of this thing. Okay, I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my Saturday. I've got some grandkids visiting, and so hey, let me do this here. All right, I had another screen up I was reading from. I'd planned on this show going a little longer, but darn it, I'm tired. I want to, let's see, we've been on for almost 2 hours, so it's a good thing we're ending it up right now. So, okay, folks, may Yahweh bless you and keep you. May he make his face to rise upon you and be gracious unto you. May he watch your going out and your coming in, your rising up and your lying down. May he give you the peace that passes all understanding. And for those that are like me, Shabbat Shalom and Happy Sukkot. Be blessed, everybody, in the name of Yeshua. And we'll hook up again on Tuesday, if not sooner. Okay? All right. Bye now.